Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me for this morning's coffee break, the 6th in our series, Introducing SharePoint, Documents, Content, and Collaboration. As you're aware, we have a series of coffee break webinars on the third Thursday of each month, and this is going to be the last one for the current series. So please sit back and enjoy. Some general notices, please, if I may. Please can I ask you to mute any microphones to avoid any unnecessary background noise. The webinar will last some 15-20 minutes, so there will be no time for questions, but you will be given my contact details at the end, and I'd be delighted to hear from you. And last but not least, this webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website and YouTube later. So the topic is SharePoint, has been chosen this morning because it's becoming in many ways the linchpin or the central point linking together many Microsoft and other technologies. And I hope to give you some examples of that in the course of this presentation. My plan this morning is to start by giving you an outline of what SharePoint is all about. I have heard it referred to variously as a toolkit or a platform, and in the past I've attended presentations that have been using both these terms and more, and I appreciate that it can be a bit bewildering. So this morning I'm going to talk about capabilities. I'm clear that SharePoint can be many different things to different people, and one of the key decisions that you will have to make with respect to SharePoint is which parts or which capabilities are most important to your business. So what is SharePoint? I did come across this definition which I thought worked well. And whilst it does have the word platform in it, it does seem to sum up the key points that I wish to make today. The word collaboration appears here and keeps coming up time and time again. Collaboration between people, collaboration between different software packages, and collaboration between organizations. Collaboration is about teamwork, about partnership, about cooperation and association, and about alliances. And in this context, it's perhaps easier to understand conceptually how SharePoint can help to increase productivity, cut costs, and help to adapt and change within our organization, within our business partners, and the wider outside world, where we help to, or where we seek, I should say, to fulfill their needs. The easiest way of looking at SharePoint is to look at its capabilities. Think of SharePoint sites as a one-stop shop for all your business websites. It provides everything one needs to create any type of site, all within a single IT infrastructure that simplifies the site management. From a team site for colleagues to an extranet for partners to an internet for customers, people can share and publish information with one familiar system. Importantly, SharePoint sites all have cross-browser support. They're not exclusively Microsoft, so Firefox, Safari, Chrome can all be used with SharePoint. But let's have a look at these 6 capabilities in turn, and we'll start with communities. And with sites, I apologize. Here we have the single infrastructure that makes everything come together. There are several out-of-the-box features that can provide instant value by helping a site owner build to the first page straight away, and then other features make it simple to modify pages, add content, add interactions, or apply a design theme. And SharePoint sites are easy to use as they are to make because they work so well with other technologies, notably Microsoft Office, and documents can be saved directly to SharePoint sites. Even offline, people can have access to documents and lists. Communities is about letting people work together in the way they want, using a full set of collaboration features, wikis to workflows, and team sites to tagging. What this means is that communities can be anything from a project team to the company football team, and later on I'll show you the Cambridge Online social site. Communities can be created in their own discrete functional area with their own granular security and privacy settings, and again, all managed by a centralized policy setting. Within these communities, people can use all the Microsoft products and other products that they already know, including Exchange Server, Office Communications Server, SQL Server, and of course Dynamics. And the collaboration areas adhere to open standards so that people can also use third-party applications and systems. And business connectivity services allow information to be pulled from other business applications to be shown within the SharePoint environment. Content management is one of the key areas of SharePoint. The ability to let people work just as they would within Microsoft Office, but with simple behind-the-scenes administration and compliance policies to look after the documents or work created. Content management combines the traditional content management with social capabilities and a very powerful search capability as well. The result is well-managed information that is easy to find, easy to share, and easy to use. On the one hand, this is about using Microsoft Office better. If people can find information more easily, they will use it. They will find the information they need more easily, and their work can be managed from start to finish. And aside from the ease of use, content management within SharePoint makes it easier to implement version control, tag documents, enforce retention schedules, declare records, and apply legal holds if that's required. I alluded to search earlier when talking about content, but this is all about finding information faster and cutting through the clutter. Search capabilities are being improved all the time, increasingly using metadata-driven refinement and better contextual search. Using refiners, one can now do a standard search on a topic and then refine and sort the results for a particular file type or date range. An example of a contextual search might be that SharePoint recognized that as part of my profile within SharePoint, I work as a member of the sales team, so that when doing a search for me, for instance, if I key in Microsoft Dynamics NAV, it will come back with sales-orientated results. If one of the development team does exactly the same search, the results may take him or her down the technical stream. And you may have seen something quite similar when searching for, say, a Chinese restaurant in Bing or Google. Isn't it strange that the results come out with a Chinese or an Indian or whatever near you? That's contextual search. Insights is about accessing the business information needed to make good decisions. The ability to use powerful features such as interactive dashboards and scorecards. We've talked about this many times before, but SharePoint uses well-known applications and interfaces to help users get the data they require. For instance, anyone can use Excel services to publish Microsoft Excel workbooks in SharePoint, or indeed Jet reports, and from there an entire team can access and analyze the same data and be certain that they have the right information and that they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. As part of SharePoint Insights, there are some particularly powerful sets of analytical functionality using just a browser, notably the decomposition tree functionality, which examines relationships in the data and allows the user to explore the contributions made by those relationships. In conjunction with dimensions in NAV, Decomposed data allows the user to further explore the information, slice and dice the data across dimensions, and see the inherent relationships that exist. Composites is really about DIY and quite possibly the last area that one would come to in considering SharePoint, but nevertheless from an IT perspective an important one. Composites provides the building blocks that developers can use to assemble, connect and configure collaborative business solutions, anything from very simple sites to quite complex applications. In theory, one can create SharePoint solutions without code, so one doesn't need to be a developer. One can share Microsoft Visio diagrams and Microsoft Access databases and then use SharePoint Designer and Microsoft InfoPath to design many solutions based on workflows and forms. And as part of SharePoint Composites, you can use business connectivity services to work with data from other systems as if it lived in SharePoint. You can work with it online, in a browser, or in Microsoft Office. You would be forgiven for thinking that there is much in each individual capability that you could use, but the synergies between the capabilities mean that you can create a very powerful functionality and control environment to work with the business in the areas needed most. On the one hand, perhaps replacing old legacy file server environment with the document handling capability of SharePoint, the ability of controlling security, providing rapid, fast search, and allowing improved document version control might be seen as great first steps. Some might argue that the existing file server structure works well. But what about the security aspect? What happens when new starters arrive and try and navigate through your file servers? And when was the last time you accidentally overwrote an important file you were updating? At the other end of the spectrum, the capabilities to create sites for individuals, for projects, for teams, for departments, for companies, for partners and for customers, all perhaps using different capabilities as we outlined, but all using the same centralized control and security functionality. I did want to show some examples of SharePoint in action just to outline to you some of the different uses and some of the capabilities that we've spoken of. First up is going to be an introduction to the Cambridge Online SharePoint site, where we use it as an intranet and for document management, and actually we've got a questionnaire going which I'll share with you as well. I'm also going to connect to the ZetaDocs extranet site, which provides us, and not just us, but all the NAV partners with all the sales collateral and software that we may need to help support you. And finally, I'm going to show you a site from the Marriott hotel chain about using SharePoint to personalize a web front end. So let me first introduce you to the Cambridge Online intranet. This is the bit behind the scenes that clients won't normally see. But this is our front page where we have regular updates from the company's senior management team just to update us with what's going on. We have our information, highlighted information about internal charities that we're supporting. And further down the page, we've got company announcements, which are typically about fundraising or recently passing our ISO 9001 audit, people passing exams, the weather forecast if we can't see out of the window, and a little bit of humour just to keep us going through the day. But essentially it's an easy front end that everybody can relate to and connect to. Crucially, over on the left and across the ribbon bar at the top, we have the opportunity to look at causal events. And one of the things I know I have to do today is to sign up or answer a questionnaire, in fact, about the curry night in November. So here, do I wish to register into this? And I can go through here and connect and say, yes, I would like to go through it. So it's just a small thing that can keep the morale of the company, if you like, ticking over. More importantly than that, perhaps, is the ability to look at our HR section, perhaps just here, where we keep all our staff documentation, our staff forms and holiday requests. So from an operating the company perspective, we can see everything that we need. We also, in this section, have our vendor folders, and we use all our documentation is saved to SharePoint. So in this instance, we're looking at purchase orders, and I can, at any one time, if I wish, pick up copies of our purchase orders going up to our suppliers in various countries. So all this becomes available to me. Specifically for my role, we have the software solutions section. Over here on the right, we have a Visio diagram, which I could open in Visio to go through our workflow in terms of invoice process. But over on the left-hand side, products are my specific area, non-Microsoft products. And here we have folders set up for each of our products. If I go into the Dracer one, then all the sales team have access to this information. So anything they want to know about Credit Guardian, Credit Hound, digital signatures and Spindle, everything they need is there. And at the bottom of the file there are the latest price quotation documents. So the whole idea is that we're using SharePoint to make this available to us. Additionally, within the software solutions, we have access to customer folders, and here we too have an infrastructure, all our customers listed down the left-hand side. But if I just go on to one here, we have this standard structure across all our companies, so all the account management, any documentation, history, job sheets, licenses, everything absolutely in one place. The only thing we don't keep on SharePoint at the moment is the software itself, which we store elsewhere. But here, as I said before, we store all our documents, so all the statements, for instance, that we've issued are all stored away within the system. So that's a brief guide as to how we use the functionality of SharePoint in-house. Everything in one place, everything easily accessible, and everything very, very much to hand. I'm just going to switch now to the Equisys site. Equisys are our partners for ZetaDocs, and we've now gone on to their part of their site, which is the partner portal. And whereas their main site is a full internet site, this is effectively a SharePoint front end, which allows them to place all the things that we need as part of an extranet to help promote and push their products, their solutions, and where we can get all the support and help that we need. So anything from the brochures that are available, marketing toolkits, sales tools, logos for our website, Here in this instance, we've got access to support, training videos, things like that. And of course, we can always download the very, very latest versions of the software that we need to implement on your sites. And last but not least, I'm going to show you a really rather strange one. This actually is a personalized site from the Marriott Hotel inviting me to sign up for 5 days and 4 nights in Spain. And if I look at the weather forecast there for Marbella, 21 degrees actually sounds quite a nice proposition. But what this is a personalized SharePoint site sitting in front of the main Marriott hotels. And I got to know about this because I got a mail shot inviting me to log into www.johngardner.my-mvc.com. And so this is a personalized website. You know, dear John, there it all is. If I'm interested, I can follow a limited view. So where is it? Indeed, where is it? It's foggy outside, but not that foggy. Hopefully it will pick that up very quickly. Apologize for that. Best laid plan gone awry. But the point is, at the bottom, I can book my 3-night or 4-night offer. And if I connect onto that, typical, connect onto that, it takes me into the main Marriott website. So what we're seeing there is a very, very personalized front end, a very connected marketing approach, very personalized marketing approach. So using SharePoint functionality to just make a difference to the key front end. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight to what is available. And let's just move back to our slideshow. The key business benefits can be broken down into 3 areas: developers, IT professionals, and of course end users. In terms of developers, it's the ability to create custom applications to respond to changing business needs. With familiar tools, it's easy for them to create web parts, external content types, and workflow activities to use in SharePoint solutions. The ability to use Visual Studio templates, the ability to do the preliminary work in the Windows 7 or Windows 8 environment, and the ability to use extensive materials, blogs, and videos on technical websites, all combine to help the IT developers get the maximum from SharePoint for the business quickly. For the IT pros themselves, the benefits are more about the centralized administration for security and a flexible, unified, scalable, easy to deploy infrastructure. Flexible deployment options let you fine-tune the system so that people can do their jobs effectively in a secure environment. And going back to the top again, the centralized administration, working with fewer systems in a more secure way, and with the ability to use just one set of tools to monitor the health of the system and the performance of the system, means that reliability and with it productivity can be improved right across the infrastructure and across the organization. But SharePoint is about helping you and your team work better, faster, and smarter, accessing the right information at the right time to make those better decisions and providing the utilities and infrastructure to get the job done. Employees and partners can work comfortably with a familiar interface and with direct connections to Microsoft Office and their other systems. So, a reprise, what is SharePoint? We go back to my earlier slide. It is, as we have discovered, about a great many things, and some say too many things. But from a helicopter view, it's clearly about business collaboration, bringing much of the IT infrastructure under one umbrella. Overall, the objectives are intuitively and eminently realizable: to increase productivity, to rationalize costs, and to give the organization that extra ability to change, and all within a very recognizable, secure, and extensible platform. So, some next steps. As always, there is a wealth of information on the Microsoft websites, and a huge number of ideas and case studies are available on the various blogs and technical areas. But from a business point of view, think carefully about how the functionality might work for you. Think about priorities. Many people start with document management, making invoices, purchase orders, signed PODs, all available to the non-NAV people in the organization to help improve both the management of paper within the organization and to make the information more widely available across the organization. Others may use SharePoint to identify gaps in, say, timesheets or expenses and use it to create easy info path forms and build those routines into NAV. Increasingly important may be the SharePoint connector, a web part for NAV, which extends the reach of NAV into the organization on a more cost-effective basis using the new NAV light user functionality that becomes more available with NAV 2013. Do consider the cloud and Office 365. It is very impressive to see Office 365, which includes SharePoint, and with support for Office 2003 coming to an end in 2014, you might be thinking about that capital expenditure, the software assurance, and the updates, all costs which can be prohibitive. And bear in mind too that even if you are on Office 2010, well done for that, Office 2013 will be with us very soon. Finally, on this slide, do talk to us. We have a number of very knowledgeable SharePoint people within Cambridge Online, and we will be running a number of workshops covering various aspects of SharePoint, and I'll introduce the first one shortly. So I would invite you to follow up, get in touch, let us know the areas that particularly interest you, and we will put something together. Why not give it a go? The evenings are getting darker, the weekends are getting colder and wetter. Work aside, there has never been a better time for taking advantage of the free trials that are available. I would strongly recommend a good look at Office 365, and I'll be very interested to get any feedback from you about how easy that is to use and to set up. So I come to the end of my presentation. I hope you found it useful and informative. The issue with making this presentation has been containing the sheer scope and size of SharePoint. But I hope that by focusing on the capabilities, I've somehow managed to help you get a handle on what it can do and how perhaps it can help your business going forward. I hope that by seeing some SharePoint sites, you have got that better feel. So in asking for questions, I foresee one of two scenarios. Either I have let the genie out of the bottle and there'll be millions of questions, or you'll be all so dumbstruck by what SharePoint might be able to do for your business that maybe I'll hear nothing. Either way, for more information, please go to the Microsoft website /sharepoint.microsoft.com. As I say, there's a huge amount of information, descriptions, case studies, videos, all sorts. And I would invite you to join our Christmas SharePoint web workshop, Wednesday the 19th of December from 10 till 2 with lunch. We are going to make a small charge for this, But the idea is that we go through everything you need to know about setting up SharePoint on your site. And most clients will already have the base version of SharePoint. If they have Windows Server 2008, it's already there and it's supplied by Microsoft on a free of charge basis. So thank you very much for your time. It's been good to have your company. And as I say, any questions, please don't hesitate to call me or contact me, and I'll come back to you just as soon as I can. But with that, thank you. Have a great rest of the morning and great rest of the day, and I'll look forward to catching up with you later. Goodbye.